car or home or both, how you can afford it.
We're going to get into all of that and more, give you our perspective on it. But first, let us get through our introduction. So let's hit it. Hi, it's Ellen Victoria. Welcome to our channel and podcast.
And if this is your first time in our podcast and YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe and get notified.
We call text all the time at 252-327-3357. We love talking to you. Do not be shy. Also, don't forget to get our buyer's guide and seller's guide in the description below.
Exactly. And today we're going to deep dive into the numbers and tell you if, for example, you already bought a home even a couple months ago before you wanted to make decision and start searching for home, what's going on.
Okay, well, went right into the realtor perspective, which is why you shouldn't be buying a car when you're trying to buy a home. However, let's just hypothetically say you already have a car payment, and we're going to kind of talk about numbers a little bit more in detail about how to kind of structure that car payment that it will be affordable for you and how to structure the home payment so you can have both. And it all depends on financial planning, financial structure, and really sticking to your means. So we're going to talk about that. So let's start with the dream home, right?
Exactly. Let's see. We wanted to make an example in a local market, for example, Winterville, North Carolina. Let's say you are in love with a big house you want to have for your family, 2,400 square feet.
You want that 4-bedroom,
3 baths.
Backyard.
And the backyard. And also the price, let's say, according to our multi-listing, is $380,750.
Right. This is just an example of one of those homes. Now, let's go with financial situations, financial reality for many people. Now, the financial reality we're going to start at is $62,500, which is still higher than the average people make in Greenville, North Carolina. It is still less than the actual national average right now. So we're kind of going with a little bit of
average?
Over 71.
Over 71,000.
But the average here in Greenville is less. So I kind of picked something in the middle, and that's why we're starting with $62,500. So because it sounds on its surface like a decent amount of money. But let's just hypothetically say you have what? A car payment. Now, what kind of car payment we're talking about? Today's world is crazy. So now you're going to be saying, I have a $1,000 car payment, which is a very real statement for many people.
Like a truck payment.
It's just many people. So if you also have, say, student loans in this can knock the number up. And I made up a hypothetical number because I used to pay $500 for my student loans. So I put the same numbers that I used to pay for myself, so I made it $1,625, which would be the student loans and the car payment, which is a very normal for someone. Now, what does this mean?
Basically, what it means, this is gonna make your debt to income ratio higher.
You're getting high, too far. Okay, so this is a very similar situation, many student loans or car payment. And now realtors are going to tell you should be buying, right? But we have to think about what is best. And we are real estate agents. We want you to be a house and be a homeowner, not because we make money with it necessarily. It's because it's good for you and it's good for our economy for you to have a stable place for you to live. Now, with that, though, we have to break these numbers down. And he hopped right into the thing, but that's okay. Let's
say, for the sake of the argue, usually the FHA is 0.25% lower than the conventional rate, and your credit score is good for both FHA and basically conventional. And 3.5% of that $380,750 is going to be $13,327.
Right. No? So the estimated closing cost here in North Carolina for that home is going to be about
$6,000 to $7,000.
$6,000, right?
Exactly.
It could be a little higher depending on your loan, but there's that.
And then you have the appraisal and inspection, which is going to come to the $1,000, both of these to do.
Now, closing costs are going to include whatever appropriation of taxes that it is at that time as well. So when we look at all of those numbers we just said, the total upfront cost you need to buy that home that we were just talking about is $20,326.
Exactly.
Now, do not let that be the end, because really, let's deep dive, can you afford that home a little bit more? Because that might be what you need for a down payment, but let's talk about what a lender is going to see. Will the lender do this?
Exactly. Therefore, with your debt to income ratio, which was $1,600, almost $25 a month, and also here you need upfront cost of more than $20,000, and the income or salary of $62,500. That's gonna put you out of the range. No?
Right. That's going to explain why, right? So if you make $62,500 a year, interest rates are at this, filming of this video was almost 8%, 7.5 is what I calculated. It's actually closer to 8. But the house price I calculated for this conjecture, if you were going to buy a home on your own, is $238,800. However, with that car payment and student loans that I was talking about, what does that drop you down to?
You drop you down to $77,300.
So really, can you afford a house based on those numbers? It's going to be very, very hard to find. That is, if you're buying on your own. There are ways to get this home, right? Typically, we're going to have to look for a cosigner, your wife, your husband, your partner, your roommate, someone who's going to co-buy with you, and you're definitely going to have to sell that house.
Exactly.
Sell the car. 100% sell that car.
Therefore, did you talk about the actual budget?
Yeah, I said you can't afford it.
Exactly. And the next things that we wanted to talk is the possible solution. No?
Okay.
Therefore,
I did that. We're on a medium home is $71,000.
Okay.
So now explain the rules.
Yes. What is the rule is?
Okay, so a rule when you're looking to buy a home is you should be looking for 2836. What does that mean?
Enlighten us. 2836.
Okay, so 28% of your gross income should be spent on housing, and your total debt should not equal 36% of the gross. This helps us live within our means, right? So this means that we're living comfortably to where we feel safe. Now, with these numbers, as we're talking about...
I mean, some of them is really on the paper. Most of the lenders are okay. It depends on your credit score and asset from 43% to 50%.
Absolutely.
DTI.
Can you afford more? I'm just saying, what can you do to try to be comfortable? Now, with that rule, we would be sticking to that $240,000 home.
Exactly.
So we're going to be looking at a condo.
$240,000 if you don't have that car payment.
If you don't have that car payment. So that is what you're going to do. Get rid of the car, and then we're going to try to buy a home at $240,000. And this is pretty much because of the 7% interest rate.
But let's look at the current market analysis in the United States. The median sell price in whole United States is roughly $440,000. And
no, the home price we talked about is $440,000, right? How much do you need to earn to get that $440,000?
Can you tell us?
126 is what you're saying.
Oh, okay.
126,000.
But 440 is the average in the median price in whole United States.
Right, and that's why we picked that $380,000 house, just to show you some comparisons.
And then with this 2836 rule, basically, that's what we said, with the 62,000, you basically roughly can afford 240. And if you wanted to actually afford the median home price, which is 440, you need to have the income of 120,000.
$126,000.
$126,000.
Now, this was different when interest rates were super low. At the historic lows we just went through at 2.5%.
2.5%.
You were only needed to make $82,000. Now, that's not a norm. To be honest, the norm in America for 10 years was about between 5 to 6%. So we had historic lows. So when we compare it to the historic lows, of course, it's much less. Now, let's talk about cars.
Therefore, what I understood is, if it was 2.5% instead of 7.5% for buying that $440,000, I didn't need to have an income of 126. Other than I can have 80.
But you still can't have that car payment. That $1,000 car payment is still a killer.
That is a killer. Okay.
Okay. Now let's talk about how we can afford cars and what kind of rules we should be thinking about when buying a car.
Exactly. Therefore, we need to looking at the different choices that helps actually based on your income. Like what car we can go there.
Okay, so I just picked a random car that I do not own, but I just kind of picked one at random because the Toyota RAV4 is a very popular, the most popular selling SUV, and those go between $29,000 to $40,000. The mid range is about $33,000. The average cost of a new car today is $48,000. That's a lot of money. So what kind of rule are we looking for when we come to a car?
Basically, we have a rule of 24/10, which if you go for 20% down payment, and what else?
And you keep the financing for only 4 years.
Only 4 years.
And then what's the 10?
10% is going to be 10% of your gross income.
You should keep all your auto expenses at 10% of your gross income. That's the car loan, the home insurance, the car insurance. All of that should be about 10%. So that's where the 2410 comes from. Now, in order to afford that $33,000 Toyota RAV4 that we're talking about, the 2410 rule.
But this is the basic one.
Right.
It's not the top one.
The basic one. How much do I need to earn?
We need to earn $91,000.
Right. So in the average person in America only earns $71,000. This means that you have to keep your vehicle cost at about $24,000.
Exactly. Therefore, after all this thing that we told you, based on these rules that we said 24 and 10, really for that, you need to have the car, buying a car not exceeding of $24,000.
So you need to be looking at cars that will hold their value or at least not lose that 40% of their initial value. And you can use a used car. That's perfectly fine. By the way, paying off your car and then keeping no debt long after it's paid off will help your economic situation much smoother. So we want to keep that car for as long as we can. Because then you have more money in your savings account, which is what the goal is, right?
This is like a realtor suggestion, no?
Right. Well, also with a home, I would say this is a real estate agent A2. You should pay off your home and live comfortably because how are you going to retire? So it's best to have a car and a house paid off and to have no bills. And when we're working and capable of aiming for things, this is what we can promise in the future. I don't know what's going to happen with like government or anything like that, but I can say if you pay off your car, pay off your home, you have some sort of you at least are going to be stable in your old age.
Exactly. Therefore, if we go to the first example, $62,500 as an income, by not having that truck or a car that is $1,000 payment with the 7% interest rate of the car that we have like right now, you are still in our area, Greenville and Winterville, you can afford something between $190,000 to $250,000 range.
Right, and that's going to bring us into a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, a nice starter home. We do have these in our area, which is a lovely thing. We're not in a major city like Boston, where I was born, DC,
or
New York, Miami, where you don't have these prices. We do have them. They're not wrecks. They're decent homes. They're starter homes.
But basically, you build equity. Is your home, you own it, is the sense of the home ownership, and also you're making money, and hopefully in a couple months the interest rate get better.
I don't know about all of that, but the goal really is that you want to live below your means and have breathing room to have savings in your budget. So the goal is to live within your means, to afford what you can afford, and to stay within the budget that you set for yourself. But by taking control of your finances, you take control of your future, and then you can, and I do recommend always having a goal of more money and more everything, and then you change and keep that financial planning in place, and you live below your means, which is a lovely thing to do because then you're in a lovely home, you've paid off a car, and you can now have a nest egg for when we do retire.
Exactly. I hope this video and podcast was useful. Don't forget to call us, Alan Victoria, 252-327-3357. Ring that bell, put the comment for us, and support our channel with subscribing in it. Thank you.